We talk now about Ole Miss. It's homecoming for Houston Nutt in a way, getting ready to go back to Fayetteville to take on his old team, Arkansas. He's made a turnaround with his current team, Ole Miss, though. They have 4 losses this season, but they are all by 7 or fewer points. The margin in losses down to 4.8, and now Houston Nutt ready to take on those Hogs.
Well, you know, sometimes you can't help but think about it during the summer, off and on, because the time that we spent there. But I've been pretty wrapped up with Ole Miss, Bob. Love this football team here, and gotten very close with these guys. And I think once that whistle blows, once that ball's kicked off, I think it's just like every other football game. You're into that, and hopefully putting our guys in the right position, doing those things. So you're getting lost in it. But, you know, you can't help but have a lot of feelings for the guys that you recruited there, guys that you know their families. So naturally there's a relationship there.
Chuck with Ole Miss Spirit. Coach, obviously you know a lot about Arkansas's players, but they know a lot about you. Is that a concern of yours, that they might know your tendencies, things like that?
No, Chuck, it's not. I'm more, more concerned about our players, about what we're trying to get done, things we're trying to execute. And so I really don't worry too much about that.
You know, I want to get your take on something else. Arkansas struggled at times this year, had some pretty lopsided losses. Some people say, well, Houston didn't leave the program in real good shape. He knew he was leaving. What would be your response to that?
Well, you know, anybody, I think, can say things like that. But I don't want to get into how did they know I was leaving. Nobody knew I was leaving or when I was leaving. Only thing that I know that we gave a lot of effort, a lot of energy to that program for 10 years, every single day, from daylight to exhaustion, every day. And there's a lot of good football players that are there.
And you can't blame them for having guys like Darren McFadden and Felix Jones, guys like that decided to go on to the NFL. That's what Bobby Petrino is dealing with right now at Arkansas, filling some of those voids. But Houston Nutt, this is what he did as the Hogs head coach. 75-48 over 10 seasons, 8 bowl appearances, went to the SEC title game twice, and was the 2-time SEC Coach of the Year. Now, there were down moments. They had the whole Springdale exodus with guys like Damian Williams, Mitch Mustain, and Gus Malzahn all going to different programs. So definitely some down times at the end of his career. But when he goes back to Fayetteville, what kind of reaction and reception should he get from those Arkansas fans?
Well, I think it should be a lot better than he's going to get. I promise you that. It's going to be a very nostalgic time for Coach Nutt and his staff. He's got so many of his staff members that were there, too. I talked to him about this a couple weeks ago, and he said at the time he had to focus in on Florida and some of these teams. But he said it was going to be difficult for him because, as he said on the bit we just had there, you know, he put a lot into that program. He's a graduate of that school, and certainly, but all the negativity that surrounded that program, Tommy, at the end, just made it a situation where it was just a good, clean break for both him and the program, because it was going to be very difficult to get any players to come in there with all that negativity.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to recover from all of the media scrutiny and all of the external influences that took place during the end of his tenure there. Better off to just go in separate ways. And you know what? Arkansas under Bobby Petrino in time, they're going to be just fine. And I think we can already see that Ed Orgeron at Ole Miss recruited a nice core of players for Houston Nutt to now mold and add to with this competitive team he has in Ole Miss. I saw his football team in person last weekend. They are a fighting, scrapping group that's got good talent, good skill, a quarterback that's going to be special in Jevon Sneed. So this is a team that I think he probably likes because he sees the upside while he's looking at Arkansas in the rearview mirror.
Michael Smith was a forgotten man for Houston Nutt with this Arkansas program, sitting behind the likes of Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. All of a sudden, he's a top 10 rusher for Bobby Petrino, but he does have some effects from a concussion, so his performance is questionable in this upcoming game with Ole Miss. Now, the Arkansas defense has not been all that sharp, I guess you can say, this season. Yeah, Pig Suey not all that sharp. Again, last in the SEC in points per game, total yards per game, rushing yards per game, and second to last in sacks per game. But it's time to get excited. Why? Because sometimes you feel like a nut. And Houston Nutt coming back to Fayetteville on Saturday. Here's the other coach, Bobby Petrino. Sing it, Coach.
Sometimes you don't.
Back.
Our fans want to beat them. They want to beat Ole Miss. That's there. That is a fact. That's just how it is, and certainly we want to prepare. We want to give it every little bit that we got, every extra effort, and our coaches and players, to practice well and get ready for the game and go out and perform. There's no question about that. I don't want to try to downplay anything. We know there's pressure on it. We know the Razorback Nation wants us to win this game, and we're certainly going to do everything in our power to prepare and go out there and do that. They look good on video. They got a big defensive front. I'm very familiar with their defensive coordinator, and he really likes to pressure. He likes to put the linebackers up tight on the line of scrimmage and force a lot of man blocks, play real tight with his safeties. So, they're going to try to force us to have to beat them throwing the ball and make some plays throwing the ball. There's no question about that, and we've got to do that. Offensively, I'm impressed with their quarterback. I think he, can really be accurate and has a quick release, and their running backs keep getting better and better. So, and they're a big offensive front. That's a big offensive front that they got.
Big game, to say the least.
We're going to start with Andrew from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. How do you think Arkansas will do against Houston Nutt's Ole Miss Rebels?
Well, I like Mississippi in this ball game. The transfer quarterback, Jevin Sneed, who was down there at Texas, got knocked out of the job down there by Colt McCoy. I like this offense to go in there, and Houston Nutt gets a win at his old school.
Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a great evening. I'm Donna Bragg. Craig Cannon has the night off. The Razorbacks are getting ready for a heated Rebel rivalry as the former head Hog takes to the Hill to face Coach Petrino's team. In our big story tonight, Tiffany Stewart tells us how fans feel about the intense matchup.
There's a familiar face in town, and no matter how fans feel about Coach Houston Nutt, they say they're excited to see him on the other side of the field. Amid all the Razorback memorabilia at Sports Clips, you won't find pictures of Coach Houston Nutt.
I'm thrilled he's gone.
Fans can't wait for their team to meet the newfound foe on the field.
It'll be interesting. There might be a few boos.
I'm going to give him as not warm a welcome as I possibly can. I'm hoping the other 75,000 fans do the same.
Still others respect the rivalry.
No hard feelings towards Coach Nutt. Really, I like the guy's a good coach, but man, I'd sure like to beat him.
Both of them are great coaches. It's going to be decided on the field.
And after 60 minutes of fighting on the field, only one thing is certain. The Rebel rivalry will still be the buzz on Monday.
This is probably the game that's been on everybody's calendar for a year.
Razorback officials expect a full house and a rowdy crowd here tomorrow. At the University of Arkansas, Tiffany Stewart, 4029 News.
Today in Fayetteville, Houston Nutt trying his best to downplay the return to the school where he coached for a decade before it turned so ugly. Nutt making it clear he's an Ole Miss man now. Rebels are expected to win. Arkansas coming off a tough loss. They surrendered a lead at Kentucky. That may have taken their heart out. We'll have to see. Michael Smith is running well for the Hogs, $192. Both teams are 3-4. Both teams are desperate for a win. They need it for their bold chances here. Interesting subplot. You can't downplay it, Houston. There's going to be a lot of emotion in the ballpark.
I mean, we could talk X's and O's here, and Jevin Sneed and the balance of Ole Miss. This one is personal. Houston Nutt is going back to Fayetteville to take care of Arkansas. I like Ole Miss big.
Okay.
Big. I mean, as many as they can score big.
Arkansas can't wait to get a piece of old Houston Nutt.
Okay.
And a guy named Michael Smith.
Oh,
I'm telling you, Arkansas upsets Ole Miss in a big win for
that would be
the
huge.
Razorbacks.
It's a big disagreement. You say Rebels big, and you say outright upset.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll see.
In his first year at Arkansas, tremendous amount of success. Wallace is the deep man for the Ole Miss Rebels, and we are underway in Fayetteville. Kickoff will be fielded at the 4. Here comes Wallace, and Wallace runs into his own blocker. And he'll get another good return, but will be bumped out of bounds. It's 3rd down and 7. Big play early in the game. Razorbacks get a pretty good rush, and they will bring down Sneed in the backfield. It's Davis. Anthony Curtis and/or Dennis Johnson. tonight. Second and short for the Razorbacks, and Dick is over the middle. He's got a man. It's DJ Williams, and Williams is loose down the sidelines.
On a linebacker, he has wide receiver speed, and there he goes. A great catch and a well-placed ball by Casey Dick. I talked about the importance of Casey Dick getting comfortable and confident in front of his home crowd early. That is a confident throw out of Casey Dick.
41-yard pass play, the first catch for DJ. Football on first down. And here's a run, and Eason makes a guy miss in the backfield. Ford finally. You could do a lot on 1st and 5, and that's what Ole Miss has now. They'll go with the end around to Wallace. The Razorbacks first quarter in Fayetteville. And Snead on 1st and 10, all kinds of time. Now the rush coming, and down he goes again.
Up front, but I tell you that what's supposed to be the weakness of the Arkansas football team is the secondary, and those guys are really blanketing the receivers, all except for that one play down the gut a while ago. And up front, it's going to give us some opportunities to get some pressure on that. In
the last 2 weeks as well. Here's Michael Smith with a huge hole. And he might just go. Gets it out to midfield.
Because he saw something at the line of scrimmage that said, if I can get the ball to 21 on the right side, he's going to have a big play. And that's something that you don't appreciate all the time about Casey Dick. His ability.
And it turns out Texas is not so bad.
Not at all.
Inside handoff, and nothing there for Eason. Razorbacks going to bring a linebacker. And they will. Razorbacks hold it back. And wide open is Joe Adams, and Adams will have the first down. That time, the Razorback offensive line.
And Bobby Petrino wants poise in the passing game, and that's exactly what Casey Dick does on this play. Stays in the pocket, stands tall, gets his feet underneath him before the throw. Look at Casey Dick right here. Uses all of his 6'2" height to see over the top of the pressure. And there's the speedster Joe Adams with a big catch.
Down in a yard. The option play to Michael Smith.
They got it and more.
And he's got the first down, and he's got a touchdown.
And great job of having poise in the run game by Casey Dick. Runs right at the defensive end and gets Big 92 to commit. And from there, it's a foot race for 21 minutes.
First and 10, and here is that wild rebel. And McCusker will keep it. 3rd and 12. Snead steps up and then gets hammered.
Front four. Malcolm Shepard is part of that front four. Doesn't give up on the play, and boom, he delivers a blow to Jevin Snead. Terrific pursuit. Bam, right there.
I don't know how he hung onto the football. We'll have 3 of them again. We're well under a minute now, and the draw play goes to Michael Smith. He'll have the first down. He's rolled down at the 46. Razorback Stadium at halftime. It's Ole Miss up 6. Now they will go back to the standard eye, and the pitch goes to Smith. Around the left side, boy, what a miss he made, and now he's got some room. First down and more for Michael Smith.
When he gets a good block right here from his fullback, boom, just enough to free up Michael Smith, and there's that little extra burst. And this is a guy that is so good going east-west the same speed as north-south.
The 46-yard line of Arkansas. Ole Miss on the move, and the handoff goes to Eason again off left tackle, bounces outside, but Broadway runs him down.
And you know, he got on the field because of the injury to Jamar Love, and he has made the most of his opportunity, much like Zach Stather has. And Broadway, a product of Evangel Christian down in Louisiana.
Coming in the first half. Casey has time, has DJ Williams at the 25, and DJ turns and lowers and gets to the 30. He'll have a first down. Snead looking middle, has time, overthrown, picked off. Rashad Johnson brings it back to midfield, and he's back at the Ole Miss 20.
Well, Jevin Snead should have never thrown this football. You talk about locked up by one defender and the second defender on the back side of the play. And if he's trying to throw this thing away, you got to throw it out of bounds. And there's a turnover that Arkansas sorely needed in this football game.
Well, we haven't gotten an expert. And it's the wild rebel. McCluster on the keeper, turned back, and gets absolutely nothing. Now, the Hogs will have to score more than they have in this game in the last 13 minutes to win it. 2nd down and 5. And now busting through there is Malcolm Shepard. Stadium comes to life. 3rd down and 9. Snead to throw over the middle, tipped into the air and incomplete. Some adversity. Let's see how they respond. Casey Dick takes the snap in his own end zone, and he goes up top, down the sidelines, and it's caught at the 34-yard line over the 40.
20-7. The home crowd is quiet. They need a big play, and they get one right here to give a little bit of life to Arkansas. Now they have to capitalize, and they need to capitalize quickly.
First catch of the 2nd down and 10. And the give is to Smith. Michael with some room inside the 40. Spins out of a tackle at the 35. Heading towards the pylon, and Michael's inside the red zone. They'll mark him down.
It happened to us last week. We can do it this week. Finally, Michael Smith gets a little bit of separation, gets in the open field, and he's hard to bring down, making that 1st, 2nd, 3rd tackler missing.
Crawford at the top of your screen. Casey is looking towards Crawford, now goes to the middle. Touchdown, Arkansas.
They got a chance. They've got a chance. The guy that loses playing time this year, but you trust his route running and you trust his hands. And that right there, easily the biggest catch.
Junior from Greenwood High School. Arkansas closes the gap back to 6. Casey will send out 5 wideouts. And he unloads up the middle. He's got a man, DJ Williams, caught at the 45, and he's down at the 42. Out of the shotgun, Casey Dick under pressure, finds Michael Smith alone. He's inside the 30, the 25, and down to the 22-yard line.
Whistle. There's a snap.
The Razorbacks were ready. Dick lobbing to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown.
Ball that I had in mind when I said throw it to your 6'4", 6'5" receiver. But that's the game plan, and it's a good job to hang in there by Childs because that ball's in the air a long time, and he just has the size and the length to go up and make the catch. And keep... There it is.
Good bounce. Wallace got his hands on it, but I think he fumbled it away.
Arkansas's got it.
And Arkansas has the ball.
The ball was recovered with the player out of bounds. It's the receiving team's ball, 1st and 10.
It sure looks like that he was in bounds. The problem is it inconclusive? They may come back and say there's not enough there for them to overturn it. I'd almost put this at 50-50, but there's a chance that they might overturn this.
Well, you see his arm is on the outside of the football right there and pulling it back in.
Yeah.
And from that's the best angle we have. And from that angle, I know the official is standing right there looking at it.
Yeah.
He has that football.
After review, video evidence shows that the player recovered the ball inbounds.
How about this? Wow.
The ball will replace at the 47.
That's why you got replay in the SEC right there.
Adams at the top of your screen. Again, a big rush, and Casey's going to lob it up for Crawford, and London makes the catch. There is a penalty marker down. It may be
pass interference on the offense. Number 2. The penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot.
And, I don't know how you can make that call. I'm very upset about it. It's not the right call. That was not offensive pass interference, and it's tough to live. And it's just a shame that you don't let the players play the game. An official has to make a call to determine the game.
He's lobbing it up for grabs again. Childs trying to get under it. He was pushed out of bounds, it looked like, but there is no flag.
And there's no doubt that that's defensive pass interference. It's called an arm bar. You can't put your arm across the receiver and drive him out of bounds, and that's what they did.
And Ole Miss beats Arkansas in Fayetteville for the first time since 2000. The Razorbacks not able to capitalize, so the final from Reynolds Razorback Stadium, 23-21.